Hello again. I'm back. I said I'd come back, so I'm here. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you. Okay, I always like to do that. I know I'm lame and I'm corny, and that's okay. So right now what I've got is a hot mess going on here. I'm trying to mise en place, but it's like, you know, keep everything in its place. But I made different plans, and I didn't stick to the script because originally I was going to do the cake first, but I'm like, no, let's just go ahead and do the chicken first. But I have everything out because after I get the chicken in the cast iron skillet, which you cannot see, but I'll kind of move things as I get done with this. See, a little bit better in frame. I am not as organized as I thought I would be. Okay, so what I've done so far is I've got these seasonings right here. Now, as I told you, I've been telling you, for my birthday in April, one of my really good friends brought back, she went to Greece, brought back some seasonings. The last time, I think maybe a week or so ago, I used them on potatoes because they had some special things. They've got this is like for souvlaki, and I've got one for potatoes, one for feta, and I think there's another one I've got, siki, I think it's tzatziki, I think that's what it's called. Anyways, I've got that as well, so we're not using that yet. So what I've done is I've got the chicken, and they were like kind of like chicken tenders, you know, kind of like that. And so what I've done is I went ahead and chopped them up with the meat cleaver. I was just like, you know what? I'm not messing around here. It's washed, all of the things. This is a couple of fresh sprigs of rosemary from my kitchen herb garden. That makes me, I feel like I'm a garden. Every time I say that, I feel like I'm in my barefoot Contessa era. Okay. So let's see here. So I'm putting the sprigs in here. Because I want to start off with this. Now, usually I don't do this many sprigs of rosemary because, gosh, rosemary, it's very fragrant, okay? But with chicken, for some reason, it works. Like, it just kind of works with bread and chicken, rosemary works. So we're going to do that because I kind of want, I took a little taste of the Greek seasonings. I took a little taste of them, and I'm like, you know what? This is very compatible with rosemary. And that's going to add an extra flavor dimension, because now if I was just doing plain rosemary, I would not put as much rosemary in here, but because this rosemary has some kind of thing to compete with, I'm okay with it. Okay, I'm going to put just a little bit more extra virgin, a little bit. Now on this, you don't want it to have a high smoke point. This is something, when I first started using extra virgin olive oil, I did not understand. I had to look that up. You always want to make sure that your smoke point is right. So for frying, I was using grapeseed oil, and then I kind of stopped using that. I mean, it got kind of expensive, and then the whole seed oil thing. I mean, I don't know. I just was like, oh, it sounds kind of stressful. So I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and do something else. So even though this is primarily for me, I am going to go ahead and put on some gloves. I mean, my hands are always washed, but I'm going to go ahead and put on some gloves. So I'm going to be handling chicken. Now, I do have tongs, because whenever possible, I like to use tongs, but when it comes to seasoning, sometimes you just got to get in there. So I'm not going to do an egg wash on here. And just because I don't want to commit completely I don't want it to be like something where it's completely breaded and whatever. I want to kind of like, I kind of want to get the essence of this, but I don't necessarily want to commit to all of it. Now I've got lemon. I poured before I turned on the camera. I put some lemon on here. So let's see here. And now, so just FYI, I'm going to use this whole thing. So I'm not going to be like digging in and then using it for something else. I am going to kind of put it in here. I'm going to put a little bit on here as well. So see here, but I'm not using an egg wash, because sometimes when I use the egg wash, it's just like, I only like to really do that when I'm baking. That's my preference. I know other people there's always opinions when it comes to chicken cooking in general, but I'm just kind of doing it like this here. So just really get in there. And I've got, again, I already added lemon juice. So we've got this going on. It's a lot. It's going to be like pretty well seasoned. Okay, let's see here. Just kind of waiting for this to kind of heat up a little bit. Kind of rolling it around here. And again, there's nothing wrong with an egg wash, but if I must be very honest, I only have 3 eggs, I think, and I got to use those to bake. So that's another thing going on too. And I do have egg whites, but it's not quite the same. I mean, I've used egg whites before, but again, it's not quite the same. So I thought, you know what? Let's just go ahead and, because as soon as I put this in the oil, it's not gonna have that same kind of breading. So I'm okay with that. So see here, I know it's a weird kind of way to do this. You're like, girl, I know, I wasn't thinking, I didn't have like the extra eggs. So we're just gonna go ahead, move that in there. I've already got lemon juice on here. I just put pepper on here, so it's gonna kind of like, it's not gonna just be this one thing and where it's gonna be dry. Okay, so here we go. Okay, it's not super hot. Move this over here a little bit. Okay, it's kind of, I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit more, just so we can kind of get that fry, the very satisfying fry that you hear when you first kind of get that in there. I used to be afraid of chicken frying because as a kid, if you're of a certain age, you remember them elders would get in that kitchen and that grease would be like 1,000 degrees. And they'd have on their chicken frying dress and, you know, they'd have their messy bun in, and some households, you know, people were smoking. So, you know, they would be like puffing away with like, you know, an iced tea in their hand, maybe something stronger, and then like, you know, a cigarette dangling from their mouth, all the things. And then there'd be like a little kitchen TV blaring, whatever was on. Because usually on Sunday, you know, back in the day, okay, just keep in mind back in the day, usually back in the day, there'd be, you know, the men would go watch the sporting events and the women would be in the kitchen cooking, okay? I'm not saying I approve of that. I'm not like, take me back. Never, I'm definitely not saying take me back to that, but that was just like a reality of you're someone of a certain age. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now I don't want this I want this hot to kind of sizzle, but I don't want it to cook too fast. So what I'm doing here, and again, it's important, even though this cast iron skillet, and I'll move this out of your way, is pretty, even though it's pretty big, I still want to make sure that the chicken is cut in small pieces because I don't want to have that situation, that awkward situation where all the chicken is good. What's up, Mr. Ryan? Where all the chicken is good and then you got that one piece that's not done, but that's why I have a meat thermometer. Okay, just doing that. And I will move this out of the way so you guys can see, get a better kind of sense of it. Oof. Okay, let's get this going on. And these are the Greek seasonings with like a little bit of pepper. I have lemon juice on this as well. And let's see here. Now, something I've done that's super country, I've been told is super country, is that, you know, when you're done with the meat, cooking the meat, whatever, back in the day, they used to put it like in a coffee pan. I mean, back in the day, okay? I don't do that, but what I have been known to use is use the renderings for like a gravy. Now, I mainly do that in the winter time, but that's also a great way, get that gravy is a great way to kind of use that for if you've got any like leftover potato situations going on, like put a little bit of that meat gravy on there if you do eat meat. If you don't eat meat, I've been known to use mushrooms, like I've cooked up mushrooms in on a cast iron skillet, and you can use those renderings as like a mushroom gravy. Okay, taking this, moving this out of the way. Mise en place. Today I'm not going to take you with me because I'm not moving a lot. Okay, take this off. Now what we're going to do is move this out of the way. Okay, we're going to move this out of the way, and so you can kind of see the chicken. It's like kind of frying here. You can see it. I'm not going to, I'm not doing it too fast. I'm just kind of letting it kind of sit here. And then what I'll do is I'm going to cover this because I still cover this, and it's not too, again, I've got it at 2 out of 4. So it's going to kind of be a slower kind of thing because I don't want to fry it up all fast because that's how you get popped. What's up, Miss Melissa? You know, it was our friendiversary on Facebook, either yesterday or the day before. But anyway, happy friendiversary on Facebook. One of my favorite people. Okay, now what do I have right here? I got a bowl. I have a bowl, and I have a mix too, because what did I say? I'm not doing from scratch cooking like that anymore. Now, if I have to, okay, fine. But like, there's a special request from one of my nieces and nephews. Okay, fine, I can do that. But I'm really kind of avoiding that just because it's kind of a lot. And I'm just like, just not really into it. Plus, a lot of the ingredients, like, have y'all seen flour? Woo! Love from Texas. I'm like, I'm not really trying to get down with like the, I mean, of course I always have the flour in my house, the emergency flour in my house, but I'm just not really like excited about flour right now. Okay. Like the prices, I'm not really excited about that, but who is, right? Okay, so I've got the mix. Now what I'm doing is, now it says, and this is my secret list. I'm 51 years old, so I'm going to be giving away secrets, right? Because I'm doing I'm on the legacy journey of life, so I'm giving away secrets, or not so secrets. So this calls for a half a cup of vegetable oil, and if I do that, it'll be okay. But if I put in a cup, it's going to taste very moist, and it's going to give it that homemade kind of feeling, that homemade moist. I know moist people are like, girl, why do you keep saying that? Okay, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's not going to be dry. It's not going to be so dry that you got to eat it out in the rain. Okay? Okay, I've got that going on. So the next thing I need is a cup of water, which I forgot to do that. Hang on. Okay, I've got my cup of water here. Usually I do the water first and the oil second, but whatever. It'll get there when it gets there. That's how I'm looking at it. And I've got my eggs. Okay. Get my eggs together here. Oh, I guess I did have, you know what, y'all? I had more than 3, but I didn't realize that because I just saw like on one side, I was like, dang it, I only have 3 eggs. I can't be like losing my 3 eggs. So let's see here. That's 1 egg, 2 egg. Okay, and then 3 egg right here, and that there. I'm gonna put that back inside from the refrigerator. I'm gonna go wash my hands, get the egg off of it. Okay, I know yesterday. What's up, cousin Jamie? I know yesterday I was like all excited because I was actually taking you guys with me. I was moving around. I felt like I was like in a reading rainbow moment. But today I'm not doing that because I have dishes in my sink. And you know, again, I know I did yesterday a little bit, but now from all this, I'm like, I'm gonna have more dishes. So now I could use a mixer. I totally could do that. I have a mixer to use, but I'm not going to do that because for me, there's something kind of visceral about just like, again, you got to pay attention when you do this, but there is something visceral about just kind of like doing this by hand, right? I mean, I got my Sunday cooking dress on, and you know, doing it by hand, feeling close to the ingredients. That's what it's all about. Oh, thank you so much. I am good. I am good. Oh my gosh, I miss you, girl. I know I need to get to Indiana. Life has been crazy. And you know, your cousin KK can testify. It's been crazy, crazy, crazy. But I'm seeing all your updates, and I'm sending you so much love from one eldest sister to the next. What's up, Bethany? I hope you're doing well today. Hope you're getting stuff taken care of. I know it's Sunday, probably a really busy day for you, trying to keep everybody on track. Okay, let's see here. We'll have it a little bit more. I just want to make sure I have this, you know, going on here. Okay, it looks like, I feel like I do. I already have, the oven is already at 350, so at least I don't have to do that. Now, this is where it can get interesting, right? And I like it when it gets interesting. Let's see here. I'm gonna move this out of the way because I've got so many options that I'm gonna do. So I know I talked to you guys about doing a bar situation here. So who wants to go to the bar with me? But first, before I do the bar, I always use a spray. I didn't used to. I used to like try to butter the pan, whatever. But I'm like, that's not, now I'm just, look, I'll be honest, I'm just using the sprays now. I'm not even faking the funk, I'm just using the sprays. Okay, now I've got my scooper. This was like, so when I was, years ago, when I was going through foster training, we would bring in dishes for, like, we'd have a potluck, right? And I think I can't remember which day we would do the potluck. I can't remember which day we would do it. Like, and so I would always bring in something because, you know, I just moved from the coast. So I'm like, you know, trying to bring in like this really healthy stuff. Like, you know, I get fresh vegetables, all that stuff. And people would eat it. But there's one lady, she did not even, she was like, look, I don't really make that. I make kind of like fried chicken. I make kind of like desserts. And so her cookies, her sugar cookies were, and they were homemade, I could tell, were always so good. And I'm like, how do you get it to be so, like, you have the perfect circular thing? She's like, I use a scooper. Like, I keep everything very, like, even. And I'm like, oh, okay. And same for her cakes. I'm like, dang it. Her cupcakes were right on. And she said the scooper. So now I'm all about the scooper. So during the pandemic, when I did a lot of those, you know, those small, if you're in Kansas City, the little 10 people parties, I did a lot of desserts. And this was one of them. And also, this pan comes in handy, not just for like a lemon cake situation, but also if you want to do some cornbread. And I'm going to say something really blasphemous, from a mix, because I don't really do cornbread. Oh, I'm not doing that. Okay, there's lots of people that can do it way better than me. But I know that with the mix, what I do, one of the things I do is, I think I can't remember the name of that mix. Does it start with a Z? I think it starts with a Z. I don't know. But I put chives on it and a little bit of butter. And I served them last year for like a New Year's Day party, and people swore I made them homemade. I did not. They were not homemade. Okay, I baked them at my house. But, oh, what's up, Auntie Charlie? I hope you're doing well. Sending lots of auntie love to you. So yeah, I mean, I made it at my house, but it's not homemade. I mean, not like, it's home baked, but it's not homemade. Okay, so I've got two right here. So I'm gonna take that, boom. I'm gonna put this, well, you know what, let me wipe that off a little bit so I don't have crust on my face. Okay, let's get a little, kind of get this off of here. Because, you know, the worst is, it's like, I used to not care, but then when it came to trying to, like, you know, when I'm cleaning the pan, I'm like, man, this is just caked on here. And you know what? It didn't have to be. It didn't have to be. Okay, so let's look at the time. Okay, so I got 5:24. We're going to put this in. We're going to the next thing that we have. Okay, now I'm going to check on this chicken for like a second, see what's going on. And this is going to be my cooking tongs here. Okay, chicken. Kind of getting that together. It's not done. I have it, like I said, I have it on a lower setting so that it doesn't, like, you know, dry out and get all, like, you know, that dried crispy thing when you cook it too fast. Okay, I'm really not a fan of that. Okay, what's the next thing that I have? Okay, let's see here. I have these right here, these individual bunk pans. And the reason why I like them is because, I mean, I love that people will bake, you know, a full-on cake, and I love that, and that's awesome. But if you don't have the time to do that and really make it right, these little mini bundt cake things, doing mini cakes, and then that way you can give the birthday person their own cake. And then you just make the smaller cupcakes for other people, and it totally works. So, you know, I've made these before, and I thought about using the strawberries and mixing it in there, but I feel like I've already kind of done like a berry thing lately, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use that for the pancakes that I made a couple weeks ago on camera that are defrosting right now, because I ate half of them and then I put the other half in the freezer. So I'm going to, you know, because I'm doing a fridge clean out. So now usually I would do like 3 scoops, but I'm not going to do that because I kind of want this, I want it to last. So because I want it to last, I'm not going to like put a lot in there. So now I'm going to put these in the oven on the top shelf. Just 1, okay, and 2. So now I'm debating, okay, because I've got these cute little cast irons. You know my cast irons. I love a cast iron, a little mini one, and that would be good. And I was kind of thinking, I'm like, you know what? What I want to try is, I'm just worried that it's going to get kind of dry. I don't know. I'm like, again, I'm going back and forth with myself. Maybe I'll, you know what? You only live once. Let's do it. If it doesn't work, you know what I can do is I can go and take a ramekin, because why? We don't waste food. if it gets a little crunchy, I'm going to put them at the bottom of this right here. Then I'm going to take some strawberries and whipped cream, mix it up there, and like I'll heat it up first, right? And then I'll do that. I'll put it in here, and then I'll kind of have like a dessert, you know. That way I don't have to waste food. So let's keep going with these cast iron skillets. Whoops. But yeah, I'm all about a cupcake. I don't go. When's the last time I baked a full-on cake, y'all? I don't even know. Maybe a year. I don't know. I'm just kind of over the whole baking a whole cake thing. Just like I'm like, it's not my jam right now. I mean, I'll do it if I have to, but over it's specially requested. But I'm kind of like, not really. So I'm gonna put that here. So I'm gonna just full scoop and then like a half a scoop. Full scoop. Okay. That's a little bit more of a full scoop, so we'll do like a quarter scoop right here. And we'll do that. See, isn't this, these cast iron skillets, because I put cookies in here too, and so I'm already thinking about what the fall is going to look like. We're going to do little spice cakes in here, maybe a little marble cake in here. I've got plans. I have got plans for these cast iron skillets. Okay, so this is one. Remember, the dough is going to rise, so I don't want it to be, you know, too much. And I still have some left over, but that's okay because I have a plan for that. Just we'll put these in next. Okay, I'm going to put these cast iron skillets at the bottom of the oven. Okay, and I've got one more left. Try to figure out what I'm going to do, but that's why I have the Wilton pans, the smaller ones. Ooh, okay. Okay, so what am I going to do? So that's why I like these. So originally I got these just as a regular layer pan, but and I was doing the layers, and then I realized it's not just enough to do the layer. There's a whole like thing of like magical things you have to do to get that to work. So I was like, you know what? Let's use these pans, like, you know, for like a smaller cake if I want to test something out, or it's like the last cake, we can do that. And because with the last cake, what you can do is you can create like a crumb situation. What's up, Miss Lori? A crumb situation, like do like a cake crumble and do that and add that to ice cream. Years ago when I was living in Newport, Rhode Island, my then significant other, I blew up a cake because I didn't see that it was a fast rising cake. It was some kind of like high rise cake. I didn't know they did those. Anyways, so it sounded like someone had shot into our house, but it was blowing up. So I was freaking out. And then he was like, and I was like, oh my God, I got to throw this away. He's like, what are you talking about? If I were on a Navy ship, they would we'd be eating this because it's not, you know, nothing happened to it. So he was doing like this whole ice cream thing. Like that's what he was using it. Like he ate on that for like 4 days. It was like this, because the cake did taste good, but it blew up and it was, and I still tried to frost it and it just, you know, that's when I was like, I got to get better at this, you know, doing these nailed it, and this is before I think nailed it came out, but these nailed it things. So see, there's not a lot in here, but that's okay. It's gonna rise, and then I can use that as some kind of crumble situation, and then I can check on my chicken real fast. Okay, let's see here. We're gonna just push you back a little bit. Okay, so now we're gonna move this out of the way, because now we're going to be all about this chicken. Whew. Okay. All about this chicken here. Okay, let's move this out of the way so we can be about this chicken. Okay. Put that out of the way. Okay, and let's see here. I don't think... Oh, you know what? I've got the fridge, I call them the fridge clean out mixed vegetables. And why are they mixed vegetables? Because I have some green beans that I just had like a little bit in, right? And then I had some mixed vegetables that I just had a little bit in. And I'm like, you know what? We're just going to put them together because that's what we're going to be eating on this week because I am doing a fridge clean out. So here we go. Okay, let's check this chicken. Whew. Let's see here. Move that around a little bit, make sure. I mean, I really prefer, because I was debating, like, do I just want to go ahead and do a nonstick? But I really prefer to do as much cooking in cast iron as I can. I kind of leave the nonstick stuff for when I'm in a super hurry and I'm like, oh crap, I just got to throw these on to get like a little heat on them. I'm not really trying to, like, you know, cook them down or anything like that. It's like a fast situation. Or if I'm doing some kind of pancake or a really halfway attempt at a crepe. So I think I said, I don't know. I don't speak French. My niece does. So we all know how I speak French. And I speak Spanish, and I always tell the story where I was trying to, because, you know, I'm an overachiever, I was trying to get fluent in French. I can read it, and I understand the grammar, right? But I can't speak it very well. And the teacher had me, she was bilingual, she was like trilingual, and she had me speak it. She's like, oh yeah, speak a little French for me. And I did, and she's like, you know what? It's okay not to be good at everything. And I was like, oh, that just stuck with me. And you know what? She's right. I can't even, I'm just not good at French. And I think at this stage and age, I'm like, I'm okay with that, right? At least I can kick it on some Spanish and some Brazilian Portuguese. So I can kind of get by on that. So I'm fine with that. Okay. Let's see here. I'm just kind of want to vent this out. Just make sure we're not cooking this. And I do have a meat thermometer, but I'm not, because I made these bigger. I just want to make sure we're getting this kind of aerated here. It's kind of what I like to do. Let's aerate this out. Okay, yeah, it's starting to break apart, so I think we're almost there as far as the cooking. So yeah, see, I mean, look, it got all, because I didn't use the egg wash, but it's still on there, but it's not going to have that same kind of crunch, which I'm totally fine with, because I'm actually going to mix this up on pita bread. And I cooked, if you saw me last night or you watched my video, whenever you watched it, I did like a veg prep. So I've got some peppers on here, and I've got some onion that I'll add on there, and I've got some tomatoes that I have as well. So I'll do that, and I will, you know, take pictures when I get all of that settled. But usually I eat before, but I had like a bit of a later lunch. Usually I have lunch around 11, but today I didn't have lunch until about 12:30. Cause what's up, cousin Jake? Usually, but because it was my brother-in-law's birthday today, we had his birthday celebration. We got a home cooked meal by his mom, so I ate a little bit later today, which is good because, you know, I can enjoy this and I won't be like all cranky or whatever. So hang on, because I've eaten too much food. So or I should say, because I waited too long to eat. Sometimes what I'll do is I'm like, oh man, I waited so long to eat, so then I'll overeat. Then like I'm hungry at the same time, so that's not always good. So I'm just mashing this down because it's going to be on a pita. You'll be there in 10. Okay, I'll send my broom for you, okay? I'll send my broom for you and Melissa. So because I'm not going to put it on skewers, I do have skewers, this is just going to be like a mashed kind of thing. That's why I'm kind of mashing it this way. I'm doing the mash. I'm doing the chicken mash. The chicken mash. Okay, I can't help it. Sometimes I don't know why. Why do I do these things? Okay, getting this together. And hang on. Okay, still on the struggle bus with the vegetables, but that's okay because the vegetables, they'll get cooked. Okay, just, again, keeping this mashed up. I want it to kind of cook evenly, because I'm pretty sure I don't have that much longer on this, but this now is just about making it smaller, mashing it up for its use, because it's going to be mixed with rice and veggies and on a pita. Or in a pita, like I could, you know, again, I've got like, you know, when I was younger, they used to do the pitas, and you got like 2 pitas, okay? And you just had to make it work. You're cutting it in half, but now they've got like, they're kind of doing it like flatbread, and doing it that way. So, and they're kind of doing it more like a taco and not, I don't think it's the kind of pita, I didn't look, but I don't think it's like a pita pocket where I can put it in there, but who knows, maybe if I cut it in half, I'll see that. But yeah, let's see here. Now I know people are like, girl, you should have cooked lamb. And here's the thing about lamb. I do like lamb, but I prefer, and I actually like, my preference for lamb is that it's kind of shaved or it's kind of mashed. And I'll eat a lamb chop. I don't, you know, but sometimes it's not seasoned well. So it's a little too musky for me, and it doesn't like, I can do a lamb chop with like mushrooms and maybe like some veggies with it, but I can't do a lamb chop on its own. I can do a lamb chop in stew. I can totally do that. But, you know, for some reason, like even the really super good lamb, or I can do a lamb burger. But I'm just not like, you know, I'll eat lamb, but it's not my first go-to. So yeah, let's see here. Let's get this in here. It's gonna be really good. I already know it's gonna be so good. Now, the one thing you don't want to do is undercook chicken, but you also don't want to overcook chicken because then it gets super, super dry. Now, if it gets super dry, you can still save it because what do we not do? We don't waste food whenever possible. You can just put it like in a quesadilla with a lot of cheese and put that either in a panini maker or quesadilla maker, or put that in you know, in a cast iron skillet with a tortilla. You can do it that way. You can just put it in some, you know, some bread or something like that, melt some cheese on it, whatever, and then that's what you got. So here you go. Let's see here. Man, I'm really mashing this up. This is gonna be really good. It smells really good. These Greek seasonings with the rosemary and just the plain black pepper, it's gonna be really, 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 really good. So you can already tell it's going to be the bomb.com. Again, we're just mashing this down because I don't want huge chunks on the pita bread. I kind of want, again, it's kind of my way to do it. Now, there's a way I could have shaved this chicken and done it that way, but I want to be realistic because most people don't have the time to do that. So I just want to be realistic and show you realistic things that you can do. And that's why, as I always say, this is on a 2-burner and I'm not just cooking on a regular stove because you know, not everybody has a regular stove that they can cook on. Or I did realize, I'm like, sometimes if you got so many people you're cooking for, you got 4 burners going, plus you needed a couple extra burners for things. So, you know, again, it's great as a supplementary burner as well. This does get really, really hot, so you have to kind of watch it. Let's see here, let's get this together. It smells so good. I also added lemon in here just for that, you know, an extra element, extra flavor profile. Not a lot, probably like maybe a tablespoon. I added a tablespoon to the chicken, or a teaspoon kind of, well, maybe it was a tablespoon each. Tablespoon to the chicken, and then a tablespoon to the cast iron skillet. And I've got rosemary in here as well. So we're gonna have some, it's gonna be fragrant up in here. It's gonna be amazing. Let's see here, okay. And this looks done. It does look done. Okay, just a few more minutes though. I'm not gonna overcook it though. Just a few more minutes, just gonna be completely sure that this is done. And I need to go get a bowl to, oh, come on. I think you can see this. You can see this. I'm gonna go get a bowl to put this in. Where's my bowl? Oh, here it is. Rectangle. You guys, I've had these since 2013. I use things until they fall apart completely. And just because these are pretty well made, now the tops of them are not well made. That plastic thing, they're not, I mean, again, well, they've lasted this long. They started sort of falling apart, I noticed, like about 6 months ago. So I guess on Amazon, or, you know, I guess online in general, you can order the tops. You just have to have the size. And I think it's a Pyrex. So I know that they have the size kind of, I can kind of eyeball the size and figure out what sizes I need. Because, you know, again, like I said, I keep things forever until they fall apart. Because, you know, that's part of the legacy of my family. Well, we're not throwing stuff away unless we absolutely have to. So that's kind of like what we're doing here. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit because I have it on 3. We're going to put this to 1. And yeah, just going to do that. And kind of let it, what does it say? Let her cook. I'm going to let it cook a little bit. And, you know, my mixed veggies, they're just doing what they can do over here. I have them kind of on a higher thing. So let's see here. I'm going to look and see what we got going. Okay. So we still have some time for the baked goods. So it's going to chill out a little bit here. And I probably need to get a mitt and do this. I think what's happened is that I have, you know, I was trained by the ladies of a certain age, and I swear I never saw an oven mitt. They were just doing things. I'm like, whoa, that's magic. But I have acrylic nails and they don't. So I'm trying not to, you know, literally melt down. So I do have to remember, like when I first learned how to do a tortilla, I was trying to use a pancake turner, and I was learning by an abuelita in New Mexico. She's like, no, hija, no. Use your hands. And I'm like, okay. But I wasn't wearing acrylic back then. So now in my mind, I'm using my hands. But in reality, I have to remind myself, do not do that. You have acrylic nails on. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Yep. This is done. This is done. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. This is turned off. So I'm going to put this in here. Kind of get this in this. And I like to, when I use hot things, I'm more of a glass person than a plastic person. No judgment if you use plastic, but I feel like if you can get glass, that's kind of like what I like to do. I don't like to put hot things in plastic. So I'm going to move this onto the stove so it can cool off. Okay, I'm going to move the vegetables to the other burner. I'm going to turn this burner off, turn this burner on. So now we've got our mixed veggies, and again, they are very mixed. Probably not too much longer for these either. I'm going to move this over here, and I know that I have a top. So let's see here. What can I do? I'm going to move this off camera, the chicken off camera, let it cool. Then I am going to move, let's see here, I think I need racks. So let's get my baking racks, the cooling racks, I mean. Get ready for that. Just move this a little bit closer, a little bit closer. Okay, not too close, a little bit closer. Okay. And we're going to move these off camera as well. Okay. It's one cooling rack. I know I have another cooling rack. Where are you, cooling rack? Oh, here they are. Okay, I've got all three of my cooling racks right here. So, let's see here. Put that in there. So now, check this again. Oh, not quite done. Probably because I do have a lot in there. So it's gonna be maybe a few more minutes, maybe like 5 more minutes for the things that I had in there. So this is just cooking, not seasoning this, because I'm gonna season it once it's done boiling. I just prefer to do that because, you know, again, it's kind of like seasoning the water. I mean, again, you can do that, but soup is technically seasoned water, but I just prefer with these vegetables just to kind of like throw a little bit of pepper on it. I'm not doing too much. I don't have to like over season them, because sometimes if you have too much seasoning on the veggies, like not just like a simple pepper basil combination, it's literally too much. You just feel like, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like I should have picked a struggle, and I picked the wrong struggle is what I did. So that's why I'm really kind of cognizant about that. Okay, I'm back with this. So I'm not sure if you guys are cooking dinner right now, like what you're doing, if you're just kind of like hanging out, whatever. But I'm really excited for this week. It's going to be, I know, I can feel it's going to be a really like good week. And so yeah, I've just been doing more writing. I'm working on my YouTube channels that I have, because I had a lot of stuff I could have uploaded to YouTube, but then I got busy, or I got distracted, and I was like, oh no, but now I'm really taking that time. I did make the decision to, I'm not gonna, like, my trip to Pittsburgh this month will be kind of like my last one. until next year. And so that was kind of like a heart-rending decision, but I'm kind of glad that I made it because I have so many things that I have to do, like, you know, before the end of the year. Like, I'm on a clock. And so, you know, again, like, trips and all that other stuff are fun, but I'm just going to be just doing my day trips where I like maybe go an hour and a half, like max. And on one of my upcomings, I just recorded a few of my Quaint and Cozy KC episodes. They're like shorter episodes. I was like, you know, defining for myself what a weekend getaway is, because I know Salina, Kansas is now in my mind a weekend getaway from Kansas City. 2.5 hours. They redid their downtown. They have a farmer's market. Like, it's like thriving. It's a really good vibe down there. So I'm like, you know what? That's a nice little weekend getaway, because you can leave on Thursday after work, get there in time for like a little nightcap, a dessert or a mocktail, cocktail, whatever you do. Like, that's your business. But, you know, and then have all day Friday to explore. And you could probably, you know, go back on Saturday afternoon and then, you know, have that extra day to go back to work on Monday, however you want to do it. But I was like, man, I wished I had a little bit more time in Salina, right? And 20 years ago, you would have never heard me say that, okay? But yeah, I was like, man, Salina's really on the come up. There's some other cute little towns as Lindsborg. I haven't been there since I was young. And then Newton, of course, I've got to, you know, I want to explore that a little bit more because it's got a cute little downtown I didn't get a chance to really look at. And then, of course, I want to go back to Hutch. I have not been to Hutchinson since 2014 maybe. It's been a minute. I haven't been to Manhattan since 2014. So yeah, that used to be my spot, Aggieville. But I haven't been there in a long time. So again, like when I do this, when I plan on my trips for next year, I definitely want to do, I'm looking at doing like a week and, you know, 5 days, just going and exploring all the things and coming back around, doing that central Kansas tour. Of course, I have to stop in western Kansas, but doing that, maybe taking off a week or, you know, 4 or 5 days and doing that, maybe taking off a Wednesday like I did for Rhode Island and coming back on like a Sunday or, you know, a Sunday or a Monday, something like that. But I'm kind of like, you know what, that's kind of what I want to do, or even like a Thursday and coming back on Tuesday. So again, like looking at that, you know, really kind of thinking it and just kind of centralizing everything around Salina, because I could just stay in Salina and then drive a couple of hours around Salina and kind of do that. That might be the way to do that. But that wouldn't really be a weekend getaway. That'd be more of like a straight, you know, trip, right? It's kind of like how I'm described sometimes. Girl, you're a straight trip. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I think the lemon is done. I think the lemon is done. I think the veggies are done too. I got a lot of things that are done right now. So we're just gonna go ahead and I'm going to unplug this because it gets hot. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's see. I have got to put this hot pan down somewhere. Okay. And okay. I've got my veggies. Now again, I'm not doing anything too much with these veggies. We're just gonna do a little bit, because I don't have my thing here in front of me. Just a little bit of pepper, and then I'm gonna find a little bit of basil and throw it on there. Even like, you know what? I could also do, whoops, that's cilantro, I don't wanna do that. I've got some chopped chives that I can use. Again, just a little bit because I'm gonna be eating, so like the chicken's gonna have seasoning and so I don't wanna compete too much with that. And what I also can do is go ahead and, you know, put a little butter on there, but I'm gonna wait to do that. I'll probably do that when, you know, before or like after I heat them up. So we're moving that. We're gonna move, and this is kind of, let's see here, this is kind of hot. So we're gonna move this out of the way here. Put this back on the edge. We're gonna be on the edge. Okay, there we go. Now that's done, we're done using that. I have got my cooling racks over here. Oh man, okay. This out of the way. I got a lot of stuff going on. Okay, probably a little too much. going on right now. That's okay. It wouldn't be Elena if I didn't have 1,000 things going on, right? People who grew up with me, it's like, dang, girl. Okay. Whew. Let's get... I've got these right here. Okay, so... There we go. Got them out in the nick of time. Whoops. Okay. Oof. I've got my bundt cakes out, my mini bundt cakes out. Okay. Oof. Okay. Okay, we're letting the mini bundt cakes and the bars, we're going to let them cool off. And then I still have, oof, the cast iron cakes that, I'm trying to see, are you done? I think you're done. Let me see here if they're done. Right here, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna use this meat just to make sure, let's see, do I have, so it's coming out clear, these are done. So when you use the cast iron, just remember it's not gonna be like the cookie where it's gonna like cook on the top, it's gonna cook on the bottom, and that's something for me to remember. Because when I did the sugar cookies, the whole thing was like, you know, brown. Again, different textures, all this stuff, but something to remember. So now the only thing I have left over is the flat layer pan. And also, just FYI, for that layer pan, what I could also do is take a pizza cutter and cut it into 4 slices and then get some kind of whipped cream or strawberry sauce situation. And I could use it as dipping, so I could cut it into strips and you know, cut it into fourths and then use it as like a dipping situation. That'd be really good. You know, with your forks, kind of dip it in there like something a little extra sweet treat. Maybe put a little whipped cream on top of there as well, like a little, again, just a little sweet treat. Sometimes that's all you need is a little sweet treat. So I have to let these things cool down. So wah wah, gotta let them cool down. So it's gonna be a little, I think it's gonna be, you know, some time before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them up, kind of give you an idea of what they look like. And let's see here, let me get 2. So you can have that idea. And then I'm going to sign off and, you know, start fixing up my plate. Okay, so this is what this looks like. So what this is how I would serve this is I could, again, I could put a little strawberry sauce on top of that. I'm not going to do that, but I could, you know, once I take it out, cut it into 4s. Like, again, these could be, you could use it for dipping. I could put a little whipped cream on top. I could take, like, I have one of those things where you can kind of punch the hole in there and create like a hole. I could fill that with strawberry and like a little bit of whipped cream. So then now this is the bottom of the bundt cake. So this bundt cake here, like this. So this cooked, you know, it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be pretty solid, not too crunchy. Now these bars right here, same thing. They're cooked. They're not gonna be too crunchy. They're just right. I got them out in the nick of time. But let's say they were too crunchy. What would I do? I would throw some whipped cream on them. That's what I would do. Or some ice cream on top of them. Or if you're in, because it's lemon. So you could probably, if you're like a honey person, you could put a little honey on there. Some kind of sauce, right? Make like a berry compote, or, you know, put some jam on there too. There's a lot of things that you could do to kind of give it like a little bit, you know, more, so it's not so dry. I don't think these are going to be dry, but I've seen them where like I had the oven on too hot or whatever, and I was still able to salvage them because I turned it into like a cake mash. I just mashed up all the cake, you know, remembering that experience years ago, mashed up all the cake and served it with like sauce. And then said, hey, you can put some ice cream on top, and kind of did that kind of cake crumble thing and put it in a bowl. Remember what we said when I made the spring roll incident, the hour and 42-minute video of spring rolls, and we were all fighting for our lives by the end. We just put things, and I showed you the dessert ramekin, or if it's like more of a serious situation, we'll put them in one of these ramekins, right? We can line it with the strawberry so it's down there with the yummy goodness. We can put the cake in there, the cake crumble in there, maybe do another layer of strawberry, something like that, and then, you know, throw more cake on. You can kind of just like weird little parfait thing. And then put some whipped cream on the top or some ice cream on the top, and that way you're always getting to that strawberry goodness. So there you go. Because what don't we do? We don't waste food. Okay, and on that note, I gotta let everything cool, and I'm gonna take pictures. Thank you guys so much for your support and all that other stuff. And I already took the other videos down, like, no, they're not done yet, but Facebook will be kind of getting rid of them in 30 days, but that's okay because I'm uploading them to YouTube right now. So I've already downloaded them, and I'm working on, you know, getting everything together. So they're in my YouTube drafts. So I think the best way for me to do this, I was thinking, I'm like, how do I do this? Because I know I have people on Facebook that like want to see me cook, want to see me whatever. I guess I'm comforting to them, and that's totally cool. But I also, you know, want to do things on YouTube, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? If I do it from this Facebook, upload it to my YouTube, and then also upload it to like my Aunt Lainey's Kitchen, you know, with the YouTube video doing that, then I'm doing it all. Like, I don't have to rush around trying to do like 2 different channels to do. That's what I kind of started doing just for the practice last year, but now I don't have to do that. So thank you guys so much for all the support. Take care. Have a great week.